Joining us now is the former Deputy Chief Minister of Rajasthan and senior Congress leader Sachin Pilot, who in fact is on his way back after meeting the Dalit boy's family today. Sachin Pilot, thanks very much for being with us. Tell us about your visit to the family. They must be so heartbroken. What did they tell you?
Very tragic. I met the family, the father, the grandfather, 9 years old, studying in school, and was clearly being discriminated when he was attacked by the teacher, and he lost his life very tragically. I think the government has taken action of putting a charge sheet and against the teacher. They now derecognized the school, given some financial compensation. But what's far more important is that once the dead body was brought in from Ahmedabad, the burial happened after 9 o'clock at night. And there was a police Lathicharged on the family and other people who would gather around that. So the father and the grandfather have sustained injuries. They're still in fear. I've assured them that we'll provide all arrangement for security for their well-being. But clearly there is a sense of fear amongst not just that family, but amongst the community. And we have to really work tirelessly to evoke that confidence that even though we have laws and regulations, but the implementation sometimes lacks. And one can't get away with brutalizing a child, especially if he's from a marginalized background. So that confidence building, I think, needs a lot of effort to be done.
Well, Sachin, what you just said, though, about the police lathi charge on the family, I mean, is that not a direct failure then of the Rajasthan government?
Well, I don't know what the circumstances could have been, because here's the victim's family. The dead body was brought in by road by the police. And then I think the government must take action against those police officers who are involved in having a lathi charge on the very family of the deceased. That's something that I think should be taken up straight away. I don't know why the delay in taking action against the police officers. The family is under a lot of stress and back, obviously. But this victimization of communities that are marginalized in our society is something that's completely unacceptable. And whether you're in opposition or government, you have to stand up and speak for what's right. I believe this boy, first of all, no teacher should hit children. The fact that this boy was injured, 15 days suffering in hospital, and then once the family has put an FIR saying that the boy was not allowed, or he was beaten up because he drank water from a pot kept for the teacher. You know, after 75 years of independence in any part of our country, if we are still faced with those dilemmas and those brutalities, that's unacceptable.
Sachin, there's been, in a sense, anger in your own party about this. A Congress MLA has sent in his resignation to the Chief Minister over this. Tell us about that. How much of an indictment this is then of Ashok Gehlot's governance?
I don't know. I've not spoken to Mr. Meghwal, who's put in his resignation. He's from Baran district. I know him very well. He was district president of the party and now second-time MLA. He obviously was very anguished when he wrote that letter of resignation. I think we need to do a lot more to win the confidence of those people who have stood by us. And I say by us means by politicians, by people who have really had faith in the Constitution and now feeling a bit let down. It's not about one party, one government, one leader. It's the whole ecosystem is not functioning as well as we think it is. In the interior parts of India, it is a huge bias. And, even in Pali district, about 100 kilometers from where I'm right now, a young man was killed because he had a mustache, but he was from a Dalit community. And some men attacked him and said that you can't have a mustache because, you're from the Dalit community. So many bridegrooms are taken down from their horses when they go for their wedding ceremonies. I think these issues, really something that we have to work strong. And I think that it's not about making laws and regulations. It's about enforcing the letter and spirit of what we believe is true.
But Sachin, how much of this is shadow boxing between you and Mr. Gehlot? We know you guys don't get along. Is there a political undertone that's playing out here?
Well, I don't think either Mr. Gehlot or I have ever told you that we don't get along. We get along well, fine enough for us to work together and make sure that we do better for the party and the government. But this is not about individuals, about me or anybody else. This is about this boy who's lost his life. We've condoned, and like I said, governments offer compensation, all sorts of things that could be done. But I think a police action against officers who indulge in lathi charge is required. And I think we need to work hard to really let people know that just because we are in government, we can't take things for granted and we can't allow the situation to get out of hand. And every time a crisis happens, we can't take action and say what more can be done. And I don't think it's enough to say it happens in other states. That's not the way I think anyone in authority should react, because every life is important and you must show the earnestness in your actions, not just in words.
All right, Sachin Pilot, thanks very much. I know you're traveling en route after meeting the family. Thank you for joining us in the middle of that sort of crazy drive back. But clearly, the Ashok Gehlot government is facing a lot of questions over this horrible incident. Thanks very much.